There's a controversy brewing at both the Home Depot and Lowe's, and it has some customers threatening to sue, and it could change the way that you shop. In this video, we're going to talk about the what, the why, and what it means for you. Lowe's and the Home Depot are huge competitors, and there's a bit of an arms race between them. And you see it play out in a lot of different ways. If one has a sale on paint, you'll usually see the other one follow. In fact, if you're shopping on prices and checking out both Lowe's and the Home Depot, you're not going to find a lot of differences. And if you do, it's usually short-lived, and after a day or two, the prices line up again. Some people see that as evidence of collusion on prices or some sort of market manipulation, but it's actually something that's very common across the retail industry. Amazon and Walmart do it too. They are both constantly monitoring each other's prices, and if there's a change or a sale or a discount at one, the other will soon follow. That's just the nature of competition. You don't want to get left behind and have all of your customers shop at the other guy because he has better prices. It extends beyond just prices, though, to other things like policies. And both Lowe's and the Home Depot have come up with a doozy. In fact, let me show you their website so you can see what I'm talking about. This is Lowe's website, and it looks pretty standard. You've got a return policy for 30, 90, and 365 days. But then you've also got this. Just 48 hours for things like major appliances, paint sprayers, generators, and other large and expensive items. Then you've got the Home Depot. Theirs is similar, but with a 7-day return policy for things like dehumidifiers, pressure washers, air conditioners, and other things. And then 48 hours again for major appliances. So what gives here? Now, for me as a customer, I hate the idea of not being able to return things that are not working, and to have to return them within 48 hours is kind of ridiculous to me. But here's the thing about returns. Businesses hate returns, but as a retail business, customers expect it. They need to have the ability to bring something back if it doesn't work or they don't like it, and they're less likely to shop at your store if they're unable to do that. And so that is, again, one of the areas where stores compete, those policies. And so it makes sense for both of them to make this change at the same time. Like I said, it's kind of an arms race, both with policies that benefit consumers or lower prices, as well as with policies that don't benefit consumers and increase prices. And here's another interesting thing. It's not just Lowe's and the Home Depot, but also Walmart. Walmart changed their return policy earlier this year on major appliances to 48 hours as well. So perhaps Lowe's and the Home Depot aren't following each other, but they're really just both following Walmart's lead. So this is definitely a huge change, and it's definitely going to impact a lot of customers who buy those types of products at these stores. But what gives here? Why are they making such a drastic change? And what does this mean for you and the way that you shop? Well, before we get into the details on that, I want to tell you about this video's sponsor. So I've got a problem.
What doctors call a little bit of a weight problem.
And I get reminded of it pretty often in the comments. Now, to be honest, I couldn't care less about what people think about me, but I do want to be healthy for my family. And one of the things that is a constant challenge for me is motivation. I'm so busy that it's sometimes difficult to find the time and the motivation to exercise. And it helps to have something that encourages me. That's why I really like this Averon treadmill. Averon is pioneering what they call fitness entertainment, and this treadmill has got it all. There are games that can lock in your competitive side, and you can stream your favorite shows, all while getting in a workout. There are even fitness classes, and the large screen really helps you to have an immersive experience. They also have a rower and a bike if that's your thing. So this is something that you feel like you could benefit from. They have their best prices of the year on right now, and you can get an additional $50 off all their products when you use my code DIYWithDave50. You can also follow the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. So check them out, and thanks again to Averon for sponsoring this video. All right, so stores like Lowe's and the Home Depot and Walmart have changed their return policies, and it's not great. In some cases, you may only have 48 hours to return an item to the store before they refuse to take it back. But what is going on here, and why would they all do this at the same time? Well, here's the thing about returns. Returns are expensive. They're expensive for all retailers. The National Retail Federation estimates that in 2024, there were a total of $890 billion in returns. And these returns pay retailers nothing. In fact, they cost them a lot of money, both in the lost revenue, but also in the reverse logistics that it takes to get that product back into the pipeline so that it can be sold again. Sometimes items are damaged and they can't be resold, and that's a large expense for a lot of these retailers. But I have a question here for you. Does a company's return policy actually impact the way that you shop? For example, Costco's return policy on major appliances is 90 days. And honestly, they may even take it after that. They've got a pretty generous return policy. So would you prefer to buy something from a company like Costco that has a more generous policy? Or are there other things that are more important to you, say like price? Leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think. Now, here's the interesting thing here. I think that in a lot of cases, companies actually communicate to you through their policies, through policies like this. We all know that Costco sells quality products, but if a company's not willing to stand by what they sell, does that really make you question whether you should be buying from them at all? Some retailers are also getting creative with their returns. Amazon, for example, has done all of the calculations, and they've determined that for some of the items that they sell, it's actually cheaper to let the consumer actually keep it after getting a refund rather than going through the expense to have it shipped back, inspected, and potentially resold. That isn't true for everything, of course, but for many items, especially those on the cheaper side, they'll tell you just to keep it, and that ultimately saves them money. Then there's stores like Harbor Freight. For a lot of their items, especially their more expensive items, they'll charge a restocking fee as high as 20% of the item's cost when you return it. That discourages people from returning items, which can, again, save the company money, but it's definitely an annoyance for the customer. And one thing that happens a lot at places like Harbor Freight is that some people will go in and buy a tool for a specific project and then return it once they're done. So they use it as kind of a tool rental, and that restocking fee helps them recoup some of those costs. Then there are other companies, companies like O'Reilly Auto Parts. And they actually lean into it and they rent out their tools. They understand that a lot of people may only need a certain tool for one job and may never use it again. And something like that helps limit their returns, recoup some of their costs, and also creates brand loyalty. So returns are definitely expensive for companies, but there's also a much bigger problem, and that's fraud. According to the National Retail Federation, 93% of retailers said that retail fraud and other exploitive behaviors are a significant issue for their business. In fact, there was a story a while back of a guy who was going into Home Depots and stealing circuit breakers. He would stuff them in a vanity cabinet and then go and buy the vanity cabinet with the breakers hidden inside.
He walked right out of 2 separate Home Depot stores on at least 3 separate occasions and made off with nearly $10,000 worth of items.
He would then sell the circuit breakers online and then come back a few days later and return the vanity cabinet and get his money back. Other people may try to steal items from the store and then attempt to return it later on as well. So you can't really blame the retailers for trying to control the issue. But there's one more wrinkle to think about here. As a consumer, you're out of luck entirely if you can't return an item to the store. The appliances that they're selling are generally covered by a manufacturer's warranty, but after 48 hours, you'd have to actually go through the hassle with the manufacturer to get any kind of service instead of going back to the Lowe's or Home Depot where you bought the appliance. And I think that's really the kicker here. Lowe's and Home Depot have decided that the appliances that they're selling essentially are not good enough to return, or that it's costing them too much to manage it. But the much bigger problem here is that appliances today are not as good as they used to be. In fact, I pulled this picture from the Family Handyman website showing the average lifespan of common appliances. On the low end, you've got microwaves that only last, 6 years on average. Then you've got a washer that could even be less, a dishwasher that lasts around 7 years, refrigerators that only last around 7 years, on up to water heaters that only last 15. This is all kind of crazy to me, and I know that it's a super old person thing to say, but they really don't make them like they used to. In fact, I'm sure that a lot of you could share stories of appliances that didn't even last as long as these figures here. According to a company called American Home Shield, which is a warranty company specializing in warranties for household appliances, the current average lifespan of most appliances today is 10 to 15 years, when in the past, it was actually 20 to 30 years.
So what? I guess they just don't make them like they used to, huh?
Now, I love that movie, and the interesting thing here is that it was made in 1984, over 40 years ago, which tells me that this has been a saying for a really long time, and that it's not a new problem. But one thing you need to think about is you have to kind of quantify what you mean when you say that they don't make them like they used to, because it really is a level of quality as compared to the price. There are high-end applications that you could buy that would last a really long time, but you're gonna have to pay top dollar for that. And things today are just more expensive than they've ever been before. But that said, there are a few things that are actually a much better value for the money today than what you could buy in the past, mostly electronics. TVs are of a higher quality today than ever before, and they can last a really long time. I'm also really impressed with modern cell phones. My cell phone is always on. I sometimes drop it and it keeps ticking. Granted, I've got a good case on it and it's not quite as indestructible as the old Nokia phones from ages ago, but it's a very well engineered device. But then you've got major appliances. Sometimes they change the materials that they use to build them to make them lighter or make them cheaper or easier to manufacture. And what that often does is it makes them more prone to breaking. They're not quite as resilient. They're not quite as strong and durable. And then there's the fact that today's appliances are just simply more complex. A lot of modern appliances feature things like LCD screens, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connections, and various sensors, which, while offering convenience, also increase the potential for failure. Then there's the biggest thing of all, kind of the elephant in the room, and that is planned obsolescence. Now, if you've never heard of that term before, it's basically an intentional business strategy where products are designed to have a limited lifespan, intentionally becoming outdated or non-functional after a certain period of time to encourage consumers to purchase replacements. The purpose of the strategy is to increase sales by creating a cycle of consumption where consumers have to buy products more frequently. And the worst thing about it is that it works. If you comb through history, you can find instances where companies made such good products that they put themselves out of business. A classic example of that is a company called Diamond T Trucking, or the Diamond T Trucking Company. Their trucks were really expensive at the time, but they lasted forever. And when someone could afford to buy one, they bought it and they never had to buy another one. There are other examples too. There was a company called the Whitney Blanket Company that went bankrupt in the 1970s. Their motto was a blanket for life. At a certain point, everyone who could afford one had one, and then their sales plummeted. You can actually still buy them today on eBay, but they cost hundreds of dollars. There are other more modern examples like, say, Pyrex or Instant Pot. And although there's always more to the story, the point here is that there's not an incentive for producers to make a good product sometimes. They could produce themselves out of business if it's too good. What they really need to do is make a good enough product that will last an acceptable amount of time and then get consumers to come back for the next model. This is especially true with some tools, but that's a whole other video for another day. Now, we all like to think that we have efficient markets, but the fact is that in some cases, the better a product is, the less of that product they sell. So market forces actually compel businesses to make inferior products. Or in some cases, like Apple, they actually dumb down their older versions so you're forced to buy the new one. There's also been a lot of talk recently about the right to repair. Some manufacturers make their products so difficult to fix that it's easier to just buy a new one. That leads to more money being spent by consumers, more waste going into landfills, and more money in the pocket of these big companies. But what does all of that have to do with these new policies from Lowe's and the Home Depot? Well, I think that the problem with many appliances today is that they're just not as good and durable as they used to be. And that's a huge driver for why Lowe's and the Home Depot and Walmart may be limiting returns on those items. It's just costing them too much. At the end of the day, my suggestion is to skip them altogether. I personally would be more inclined to buy an expensive product from a company that's not going to leave me in a lurch when the product that they sold me does not meet my expectations. But what do you think? What are some products that you would never buy again? Or what is something that you purchased years and years ago and it's still kicking? Leave me a comment and let me know. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next one.